Hey everyone, it's Corinne Hoisington and working from home. And so are you. As you probably have known, we are closing the college down until further notice, and that really could be the rest of the semester. Sadly, we've canceled graduation, although we hope to move it to another time when it's possible, maybe in the summer. So let's try to make the best of this. I understand your frustration right now. You signed up for a face to face class and now it's not. So I want to be super supportive through all this. First of all, email me if I can assist in any of your assignments. I could hop onto Zoom, which is like a video conference. And also, don't forget, I'm going to make videos and different items to really help you through the second half of our semester. I understand that we're all going to need some flexibility, but please understand it's not a snow day, that we still are moving forward with work. We still have to complete the semester, and we're trying to make any accommodations as needed. So before any further ado, let me show you something.
Coronavirus spreading and everyone working from home, I thought I'd share some easy tips on how to set up your workstation so it's ergonomically correct while you work from your home office. There's no way you can work from your couch in an ergonomically correct position. You're going to need some kind of a chair or a stool and a desktop or some kind of a tabletop to have your computer on. Whether you're using a laptop or a desktop, they need to be elevated up so your eyes are in line with the center of the screen so you're not looking down all day. The third step is to use a wireless keyboard and wireless mouse. This is crucial if you're working from a laptop. All you need is a few books, a shoebox, or an ice cream box like this to lift that up. Lastly, just like in the office, you're going to want to get up and stretch for about 5 minutes every hour or so. The best stretch that I've found for desk workers is called the kneeling diagonal stretch. I'll demonstrate it here. So the kneeling diagonal stretch, you're going to be kneeling on the floor, 1 foot up. Whichever side is up, grab that shoulder with the opposite hand, extend back, look at the ceiling, drop your shoulder, tap your foot, come right back up to neutral. You'll feel a big stretch in your hip. Only go as far back as you feel comfortable going before you twist. Don't focus on hitting your foot, just focus on stretching that hip flexor.
So now that you're stretched out and ready to roll and have somewhat of a good workspace, let's review for our Excel test. It's going to be due this next Wednesday night, and I want to make sure that you remember everything we talked about a week or so ago. So the best way to review, obviously, is to reread Module 3. And let me review some of the topics in that. For example, let's say in the test it says something like in JI to put in the now function. Now function shows us the date. So we could go up here, easily go to now. And what this function does is always shows me today's current date. So definitely going to be on the test, look over what this does, and we can also format it to make sure it's only a date. Like right now, it has the date and the time. You can see when I'm recording this. But if I wanted to format that just as a date, I could click in the number launcher, click over here on date, and just select whatever type of date that I just want to remain. But the biggest thing on the test is clearly absolute reference. And let me explain why we need it again. So this is your assignment from a couple weeks ago. You were doing an absolute reference assignment. Some of you did great. Some of you, let's review. So all formulas in Excel always start with an equal sign. We want to take how much in July you received in lavender sales, 1,388, and multiply it, which is the asterisk, by the percentage that we're spending on the expenses budget. If you look down here, it's 16.23%. So I'll click on B19. And the reason for multiplying, if we take 16% of an amount, that always means multiply. Well, if I hit enter right now and then copy it over, we're going to get zeros. Well, or a little dash to represent a zero. So why? Because if I look on this cell, it says I tried to multiply C6 by C19. Everybody look at C19. There's nothing in this cell, so it's not going to work. So that's why we need absolute reference. When you're trying to multiply or use some fixed value that won't copy across, as in this case, and let me show you how to do that. I'm going to double click back on cell B9. Next, I'm going to click F4, function key 4. And what that does is it puts a dollar sign in front of the B and a dollar sign in front of the 19. And that indicates that we have turned on something called absolute reference. Now, if you don't have an F4 key, no worries. Just type the dollar in front of the B and in front of the 19. What does absolute reference mean? Well, to remind you, it means that B19 down here is not going to change when it's copied over to subsequent cells, making it absolute. So now when I hit the enter key and recopy across, it now keeps B19 fixed in my formula in every one of these cells in the formula bar right up here. So that's why absolute reference is so important. Let me also show you the if statement down here. We have a situation where we're going to give a bonus to the main manager if, and look down here at our situation, if you make more than $2,500 of revenue or profit that month, we're going to give the manager a bonus amount of $500. And it's important that we're going to use these cells and not these literal values in the if formula. So to do an if function or if formula, we're going to come up and click on f of x, find if here, and if always has 3 text boxes. The first text box is representative. What are you testing? I want to see if this value right here in B6 is greater than or equal to the bonus minimum, 2,500. Now, let's look at something. 1388 is not greater than 2,500. We're not going to be getting the bonus. But before we leave this line, here's something important to understand. In B6, when I copy it over later, I'll have C6 and D6, all the other revenues from all the other months. So B6 does not need absolute reference. But when B23 down here does get copied, it is a fixed value or an absolute. So I'm going to go ahead and press F4, and that'll put those dollar signs around it. So what do I get if I do make over 2,500? Well, I get a $500 bonus. How do I say that? I come down here once I click in the second text box representing what happens if it's true, and I'm going to click on 500 right here. Now, same issue again. What happens when I copy this? Well, it's a fixed or absolute value. So I'm going to press F4 again or type the $2 signs to make that an absolute reference. And last, what do we get if it's false? Well, good old nothing, 0. So I'm going to click OK right now. And now when I copy this over, notice in 3 months, I actually get the bonus. Well, definitely review the rest of this chapter, but I wanted to give you a quick overview. And another great place to review, let me show you. And a great place to study is here I am in Canvas. Let's go down to week 7. Notice right here it says Excel Module 3 SAM Training. Boy, they did a great job with these. So when you go into the Cengage content, what you're going to see here in just a moment are lots of videos to review you on those key facts that are on this test. Things like if statements and goal seek is definitely on the test. What you just do is you hit task right here, and it'll drop down, and then you can watch, for example, let's find something for goal seek that's definitely on the test. you can just hit play.
Using Goal Seek lets you determine the target value of a cell, such as the net income, based on changes in another changing cell, such as the
practice. You could practice, and then
Using Goal Seek lets you determine the target value of a cell, such as the net income, based on changes in an
and then you can hit apply. So please, please, please study this before you take the test. When you open the Excel test, it looks just like the absolute reference assignment. It just has a few cells, and it simply says, take what you've learned in Module 3 and apply them. So it's not going to tell you to click equal and exactly what to type. We're now at this point that you need to hopefully understand what you've learned and practice it, because in real life, no one's going to say type in equals, click this cell, and so forth. So guys, good luck. My next video will all be about our first access assignment that can only be done on a PC. Talk to you soon. Ciao.